So we're going to, how many sheep we're shearing, Phil?
We're going to find out. They haven't given us a program. Can we borrow a program from somebody? Yeah. There he goes, sucking up to the Prime Minister already.
3 corridors.
I'll go back here with these lovely ladies.
It's 3 corridors and 4 long wool crossbreds.
Ooh. How many we got there, Ian? Sorry, you'll have to speak up a bit.
3 corridors and 4 long wool crossbreds.
Okay, so they have 7 sheep in total.
Shall we let these princesses go now? I think
so. Ladies and gentlemen, our flag bearers, and they have a lot of work to do tonight as they leave the stage with the nation's flag.
Give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen, our flag bearers.
They have been fantastic, these young ladies. No mean feat they have to perform, as each time we introduce an international final they have to come up. So our referee is just making sure that everything is all right, and of course we do have some interpreters up there with those nations that can't understand our referee. So we have Mainzeki Sfini from South Africa on stand number 1. We have William Craig of Scotland is on stand 2. Sawili Hans from South Africa has twice been world champion before. He's not the current world champion. Brian Thompson from New Zealand is on 4. Mike McConnell from New Zealand is on stand number 5. And Gareth Owen from Wales is there on stand number 6. So as Ian said, we have 7 competition sheep to shear. Yes, 3 corridors and 4 long wool. Let's have those shearers out on the board, please.
The sheep are supplied by P. Macaulay, the corridors McCarthy, Mr. P. McCarthy, and the crossbreds from the Bagshot property.
Our referee, Mr. Willie Buick, just in there. Come on, Willie, you have to get those shearers out on the board. They're getting cold. Back on the board with the shearers, please. So they have 7 sheep to shear, ladies and gentlemen. We have Mr. Ian Rutherford, who is very, very experienced, and it's great to have him here helping us with our commentary with the blades, and of course George Graham from Ireland as well. So these shearers have gone through the heats. They had to go through 2 rounds, then a semi-final, and now this is their final, the World Blade Shearing Final for 2012. Here in the Wairarapa in Masterton, in this wonderful stadium that has had a tremendous amount of history from the Golden Shears for 52 years. 52 years this has been going on. And we couldn't have done it without the support of the Wairarapa public, but also, more importantly, the councils that have been led by the mayors through the ages. And of course, I said we have the current mayor, Mr. Gareth Daniels, here with us, and of course the previous mayor, Mr. Bob Francis, and both of them and their councils have been incredibly supportive of this event. All right, shearers. Our referee, Mr. Buick, just still in there with one of those pens. We can't go until he gets cracking. It's the one person we can't hurry up, unfortunately. As you can appreciate, everything rests on his shoulders. All set, Willie? We have those managers off the stage, please. Shearers on the board. So it's the World Blade Shearing Championships for 2012. Timekeepers ready. Mr. Craig from Scotland, William Craig, out on the stage, please. He's what? Oh, he's trying to woo the sheep, apparently. Let's get them out on the stage, please. The referee just making sure he's okay. As you can appreciate, this is a huge occasion. All right, we're on the way again. Timekeepers ready, judges ready. Competitors, get set, go, and the World Championship Blade Shearing Final is underway for 2012. You'll be able to hear yourself talk, but of course we want you to cheer for the country that you think should win. Or if you come from one of these countries, from South Africa, Scotland, New Zealand and Wales. If you're from one of those countries, then you should be supporting your man up there, because this is the one they've come for. They've been through those 2 rounds, through the semi-finals, and this is their moment. One of these shearers, Ian Rutherford, is going to be the world champion blade shearer for 2012 until 2014 in Ireland. So here we go.
Yes, and look at it already. The New Zealand, Brian Thompson, is up the neck, and that's a good indication that he's going to go all out to try and beat the South Africans. They've been held the championships since 1996 here at the World Championships in New Zealand. The South Africans have held this world record and world title, and tonight Brian Thompson and his colleague Mike McConnell is going to try and take this away from them. And they know they've only got one shot. It's all on now or nothing.
So they need the support of the New Zealand public more than ever. But of course, there's also a Scotsman up there, William Craig, who's got other ideas about taking it home to Bonnie, Scotland. Likewise, down there, Gareth Owen from Wales. He'll take it home. The Akidar in the hills and the Vales. My God, imagine if he took it home to Wales. What do you think,
Yes, and away to go now, the World Blade Shearing Final. It's the New Zealand man there. He's pushing all the way, but it's South Africa on stand number 3 there as William Hans turns her home and down the last side. But Brian Thompson is right there as well. He's about to turn now. Very soon he will turn. And Mike McConnell down there on stand number 5 is a bit of a wriggler, settles her down. And away he goes again, but it's the South African as William Hans. He gets the turn for home, down the money side of the sheep and down the last side. William Craig, the Scotsman, on stand number 2, away to go. The World Individual Blade Shearing Final. What an honour it is for these 6 countries to be up here on this big Golden Shears world stage here. You're watching the Olympics here of blade shearing tonight. It's that man on stand number 3 it is, as William Hans, the South African, turns her home. Down to the flank he goes and out the back leg, but pushing them all the way on stand number 4 is Brian Thompson, your own New Zealander. And come on, New Zealanders, get behind your team man there and push him on. Don't forget Mike McConnell, he's down there on stand number 5, and the man from Wales, Gareth Owen, on stand number 6. But it's William Hans it is, down the porthole in just 2:49. Oh, what do you think, Norm?
Great shearing from the South African there on stand number 3. Zwalla Willie Hands, 2 minutes 49 seconds for his first sheep. Brian Thompson off to a good start. Opened the neck up first. He was first round under the first front shoulder, but Zwalla Willie Hands from South Africa. Mayanzeki Shweni from South Africa as well. And he goes for sheep number 2. 7 sheep to shear. Out on the board he backs. Into the first time league he'll drop. Brian Thompson, another couple of shots. Mike McConnell right there with him, stands 4 and 5 from New Zealand. Where's the Welshman down there on stand number 6? He won't be far away. Have we got any Welsh supporters in the crowd? Get behind your man. Yes, we have up in the stands here. Here's Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell, and neck, these 2 men. The South Africans, nothing between these 2, nothing between the 2 New Zealanders. And William Craig from Scotland, he's shown extremely well to be here in this final today. That man's a farm manager back in Scotland. He's not a shearer. He shears the sheep on his own property that he runs back in Scotland there. He doesn't actually go out professionally shearing at all. So to have a part-time amateur here in this great big final was absolutely amazing. Ian, he's having a good shear. He's done well right through the heats.
He certainly has. William Craig is mind-boggling how far he's come tonight. And down on stand number 6, we have Gareth just finishing off and into the pen. Where are you, Welshman? Come on, Gareth. You're holding his own. Another part-time hand shearer that is having a go and has won his way through and has certainly shown extremely well here to get into this final this evening. But back on stand number 1, we have the Mayanzeki Shweni, who's turning onto the first side. He's got that sheep really crunched up, and South African shearers are taking the big blows. Even though they've got a small shear, they're filling it to its maximum and cutting the wool off at tremendous pace. The shears are absolutely full every blow they're taking. 1, 2. We look at Hans there coming down, and he's making every blow a winner. Some of the other guys, their shears just a little bit short. They're only half filling them, and so with a result not quite keeping up to the pace of it.
Yes, and away to go now, but it's still that man on stand number 3 as Willie in hands. Turns her home and down the last side, and on stands 4 and 5, the two New Zealanders, Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell, they're just locked together. They're pushing the South African all the way. Don't forget on stand number 6, the Welshman Garrett Owen. Back here on stand number 1, Sweeney from South Africa, he's right there as well, and he's coming back as Willie in hands with every blow he puts in there. And that man from Scotland on stand number 2, William Craig, out he goes and he sends his first sheep down the porthole, and out he comes now with sheep number 2. But it's the South Africans that are very, very close, very little between the two South Africans at this stage. Who's going to get the drop first? Is it going to be Sweeney or is Willie in hands? Yes, it's Willie in hands again down the porthole. Come on, cheer him on and give him a bit of support. It's the World Blade Shearing Final. What do you think? How do you think it's going to go, Norm? And Brian Thompson there for New Zealand as well. He turns down to the shoulder. He comes down the last side. Mike McConnell on stand number 5. He's right there as well. But it's Sweeney from South Africa on 1. He's his third sheep out as well. So it's the third sheep on stands 1 and 3. But it's on stands 4 and 5. There's another real battle going on between the two New Zealanders, Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell. Away to go. Who's going to get the drop next? And in for sheep number 3. How do you think this one is going to go, Norm?
It'll be very, very hard to pick. These South African men, very experienced. Of course, a lot of sheep in South Africa shorn with the blades, around 9 or 10 million, I've been told. Mr. Rutherford will enlighten us a wee bit more on the shearing in South Africa very shortly. He lived over there for a long time. The New Zealand shearers, of course, they're experienced as well, but there's only about 400,000 odd sheep shorn with the blades in New Zealand now, predominantly in the high country of New Zealand, in the centre of the South Island, through the Canterbury High Country region and the Mackenzie Country, down through Tekapo and Fairley. They lot shorn just back in there, just leaves a nice cover of wool left on the sheep, the blades do, just for protection from our mountain storms we have. The weather can change abruptly, temperature will drop, and the combination of cold weather and rain will decimate our flocks. Our farmers just can't afford that. These animals are worth a lot of money, so the blades is used in the high country just as added protection against the weather. There's about 50 odd shearers shearing in New Zealand now. Not very many. It's almost a dying art, but they just seem to keep going from year to year end, don't they? It never really seems to fade away.
Well, let's hope it never fades away. Let's hope they continue and will always be there for the benefit of the animal. And the same with England. There's a resurgence in England, and that's why we're seeing these guys from Wales, Scotland, England that were over here competing, as the public want to see at the shows some of the ancient arts that were almost extinct, and they're reviving them, and with the result, blade shearing is becoming quite a popular event at a lot of the English shows today. So yes, we'd like to see it, and I hope it never drops out here in New Zealand. But with only 50 competitors, 50 shearers left, or 53, I was informed by Mike O'Connell, it doesn't bode well. Although he did say there are some good young shearers coming on, and we should see a change in the future. But looking along the board, who have we got going on stand number 1? There he goes, Shearing. Shawnee's third, out with his fourth, and he has taken over the lead. And as I said, right through this young man has gone faster and faster. The further he goes, the more sheep he shears, the quicker he gets. And he's taken over the lead from Swilly Hans. And Swilly Hans has always been the dominant member of the team, being the world record holder on a couple of occasions and South African champion on numerous occasions. Swilly Hans has been a top shearer, but he is now being faced with this young man on stand number 1.
Yes, and it's the Swilly Hans there on stand number 3. He's come out now with his fourth sheep on the board, so it's the two South Africans, stand 1 and stand number 4. But look at that battle that's going on down there on stands 4 and 5. The two New Zealanders, Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell. But the New Zealand crowd are very, very quiet. Why don't you New Zealanders get behind your team, man? It's a Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. That's it. Come on, let us hear for him. Cheer him on. They'll be going in shortly for the fourth sheep. They're still keeping the pressure on the South Africans. There's not a lot between them yet. It's there still to be won. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing title, the Olympics of sheep shearing, and Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell. A little bit of a touch up on the blades there now for Mike McConnell on stand number 5. He's going to come out and he's going to really get into it now again. Mike McConnell comes out on stand number 5. Brian Thompson is already out on 4 and away to go. Still not a lot between them there. Down on stand number 6 we have the Welshman Gareth Owen. There has to be a couple of people here from Wales tonight, but they're very, very quiet. Come on, is there any Welsh people here? Come on, you Welsh people, come on, get behind your team, man. And there on stand number 2 we've William Craig from Scotland. Anybody here from Scotland? Come on, let us hear the voice there. Come on, cheer on William Craig there. This young shearer up on stand number 2. His Golden Shears World Blade Shearing final and away to go. But watch the two South Africans, they're locked together now again. Who's going to get the turn first? Is it going to be Swain here on stand number 1? Or is William Hands on stand number 3? They turn together. Clean off that cheek, down to come, down to the last shoulder and away to come. What a battle it is here. This is a wonderful spectacle here. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing final, Norm.
Certainly is. George, Wairarapa Moana sponsored this event. Very proud, I'm sure they are at the moment, watching these top-notch competitors work their way through their field of 7 sheep. William Craig from Scotland, the amateur, there on stand number 2. Sean is hard out all day. He's sure in the Golden Shears Open Blade Shearing final as well, so he's done extremely well here today. The Scotsman on stand number 2. Zweluli Hans from South Africa. Finishing touches, he might have pulled back Mainziki Sweeney, his teammate. Just by a blow or two maybe. Not much in it between these two shearers now. Mainziki, down the last side he comes, right out to the toe. A few more shots from Zweluli. You'll see him in the pen as well. Number 5 they're looking for. They'll get number 5 out on the board. There'll only be a couple left for these South African shearers. In goes Sweeney, in goes Wairarapa Hans. A real battle these two men are having with each other. Of course, there's only one red ribbon here. One of them is going to get it, one of them's going to miss out. So who's it going to be? Wairarapa Hans or Mainziki Sweeney? Or are the New Zealand men going to have something to say about that? Or even the Welshman or the Scotsman? The Kiwis. Down over the last side comes Brian Thompson on stand number 4. He's got sheep 4 on the board. Half a last side to go and he'll be looking for 5. Round over that last front shoulder comes Mike McConnell as well. Both these men from the South Island in New Zealand. Brian Thompson from Rangiora and Mike McConnell from the Albury area down in South Canterbury. Right out over the last front shoulder he comes. Completely different style of shearing to machines. The way they hold their feet, the way they hold the animal. Brian Thompson lifts the head through. They crunch the sheep up a bit more like on that last side. They don't stretch it out. They just want to minimise the surface area they've got to cover and leave a good cover of wool on the sheep. Right out the back leg they go. Mike McConnell right there as well. The South Africans are neck and neck with each other. The New Zealanders are neck and neck with each other. Gareth Owen and William Craig aren't far away from each other, either the Welshman and the Scotsman. Down the last side comes William Craig, but it's the Kiwis. A few more shots. Brian Thompson's going to be heading in for sheep number 5, but the South Africans just stretching the lead out even more. Round under the left, under the front shoulder they come in goes Thompson. Stand number 4. McConnell won't be far away. Finishing touches for him on sheep number 4. Out backs Brian Thompson, number 5 onto the board. For that man, a couple left in the pen. Oh, Mainziki Sweeney's got himself a wee struggler, but he's got it under control again. As Mike McConnell heads in. Great event this one, Ian, and they're having a real battle. The South Africans with each other and the New Zealanders with each other.
It certainly is. That's the way it's developing, and they've got 2 sheep left in the pen. The Scotchman, unfortunately, he's on number 3. He's still got 4 to do, and this is how quick these men have got. And William Craig is struggling along there to keep up with the pace of these 4 top shearers, the 2 from South Africa and the 2 from New Zealand. The bulk of the sheep that are shorn around the foothills of the Southern Alps, and this of course they're using the bigger shear, the Bergen and Ball, that make them. And if we have a look at Brian Thompson down there, he's on the shoulder. See how close that left hand of his is working with the right hand. He's pulling up the wool. He's trying to keep the wool from pulling the skin out and making any unnecessary skin cuts. And that left hand of his is working away. Now he's crunching up the sheep and trying to reduce the size so that he can take an even wider blow as he comes around that animal. And that's Brian on stand number 4. And the same with his mate behind him. You look at Mike, he's there stretching the skin now around the legs and now pulling up the front leg, and now he's keeping it nice and tight so that he can take a full cut blade blow into the body of the sheep, and with the result, when you stretch it out, it's an enormous amount of wool that he's cut off in one single blow of those of the shears. Brian Thompson turning onto the side, the last side, and they're trying their hardest to stay within striking distance because time is very important. If we look at the board above us, we can see the time. There's 15 minutes, just coming up 16 now, that Sweeney has bought his 6 sheep out. That's very good shearing. That's around 100 to 120 a day that these men are doing at the present time. I noticed the South Africans have struggled to open up the neck wool. They're not used to shearing crossbreds that we have here. The crossbreds are slightly matted, and there you can see swirly hands breaking out the neck wool, and both him and Sweeney have had great difficulty in opening up the sheep around that point, simply because they're not used to the very long, strong wool, more used to the short, finer wool of the merinos.
Yes, and away to go now, the World Blade Shearing final, and it's still that man on stand number 3 is Willie Hands. He drops down to that first shoulder, and away he goes now with one more sheep left in the pen. And Sweeney here on stand number 1, he's up and around the back of the head. But the 2 New Zealanders down there on stands 4 and 5, they have their own battle going on, and there's still not a lot between them and the South Africans. And it's Brian Thompson that it is. He comes out now, and Mike McConnell is there as well. Come on, New Zealanders, get behind him and cheer him on. Give him a bit of support. That's it. Let us hear it for him. It's a world final. And down there on stand number 6, Garrett Owen from Scotland. Garrett turns, comes down to the shoulder and down the last side. And on stand number 2, William Craig from Scotland. And I know there's one Scotsman here anyhow. I could hear the voice a minute ago. There must be a couple more. Get behind William Craig there and give him a bit of support. Cheer him on. Come on, Scots people. Cheer on your team man there. William Craig. He comes down the last side of 4. Down to the shoulder he comes, but it's stand number 3 it is Willie Hands there, turns down to the shoulder he comes and down the last side, but Sweeney here on stand number 1, he's right there with him, he's made it come back again, so it's all on here. Who's going to drop first and in for their 7th and final sheep? The world final, the World Blade Shearing final, the Olympics of sheep shearing. Super athletes up here and away to go. The 2 New Zealanders down there, 4 and 5. That Brian Thompson, he drops down to the first shoulder down, and away he goes now. Mike McConnell right there as well. There's a real battle on, but it stands number 3 it is. It's as Willie in Hands. Down and out the back leg he goes, and he'll be soon in for his 7th and final sheep. And it's as Willie Hands it is from South Africa. Sweeney here on stand number 1. Out the back leg he goes, and he'll soon be in there as well. The 2 New Zealanders are really flying on stands 4 and 5. Down there on stands number 6 we've Garrett Owen from Wales. He comes out there with sheep number 5 on the board. Sweeney from South Africa. He comes out now as well, Norm.
Certainly does. See sheep number 7 on the board for Mwanzeki Sweeney from South Africa. Into the first hind leg he drops. 7 on the board for his teammates. Willie Hands. Right into the first hind leg he chops. Big chomps on those little blades. They can remove a lot of wool. Keep the blades right on the skin. Make a nice even job, guys. William Craig finishing touches to sheep number 4. He's a wee bit behind on time, but he's going all right, this man. Like we said earlier, he's shown extremely well to be here at all. This is a big final for him. And the Welshman down on the far stand. Gareth Owen, top knot comes off, and up the neck he glides. Under the wool, chopping up around under the chin. Lift the wool out and he'll break it open. William Craig swaps blades over. He's going to have a wee sharpen up just to get the edge back on their blades. He's shorn 4 sheep. You'd expect them to need to be touching up the edges of their blades now. He's in, but he's not hiding, ladies and gentlemen. He's just having a wee sharpen up, and he'll be back out. The Scotsman on stand number 2, Brian Thompson, down over the last fronts. The last leg he's going. On stand number 4, another few shots. He'll be looking for sheep number 7 as well. He might have just moved. Well, there he is, Brian Thompson. He's moved away from Mike McConnell a wee bit. Mike will be chasing him hard. Into the board he comes. Brian Thompson from Rangiora, New Zealand. Into the first hind leg he chops. And the Welshman down there on stand 6. Way through into the long blow he goes. But Mayanzeki Sweeney. Hanswella Willie Hands got this well in control in as they round onto the long blow and turning onto that last cheek.
Yes. The shears that these men are using are made by an old company that has been going for just on 300 years manufacturing the sheep shears. Bergen and Ball in Sheffield, England have been making these sheep shears for 300 years. This is the ancient, how long they've been going. The blades is one method of defleecing, the other method being the machines, which you'll see plenty of action on tonight. And that's the only two methods of defleecing an animal. They've tried it all, but to sever this beautiful fibre of wool, it seems to me hand shearing and blades is the only way to do it. And that is the shears that the South Africans are using are manufactured. There is a company in South Africa that is making it. There he goes. Well done, Willie Hands. And right behind him, Mayanzeki Sweeney finishing off there now. There he goes, and he'll be pushing the button. Give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Two top competitors.
And on stands 4 and 5 of the two New Zealanders there, Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell. Their 7 and final sheep out on the board. Stand number 2, William Craig from Scotland. He's the 5th sheep out there. Number 5 on the board for Wales as well. Down there on stand number 6. But it's the two New Zealanders here now. Brian Thompson, he's really motoring here now. Just see the determination on this man's face. Up he goes, up to the back of the head. It won't be long till he'll turn for home. Down the money side of the sheep and down the last side. That's the two New Zealanders there. And Mike McConnell coming right back there. Is now very little between him. Brian Thompson gets the turn for home. Down to the shoulder he comes and down the last side. The Welshman on stand number 6. He goes out the back leg there on 5 as well. Don't forget William Craig, the Scotsman. He's here on stand number 2. But there's a real battle on here with the two New Zealanders. Come on, is there anybody here from New Zealand at all? Get behind him, that's it. Cheer him out, push him out there, make him work harder. It's Brian Thompson now as he comes down to the shoulder. Mike McConnell is not going to let him get away. He's not going to be left there either. They're still practicing together. They comes down the last side of their 7th and final sheep. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. The Olympics of sheep shearing and blade shearing. Away they come. Come on, New Zealand. Get behind your teammate and cheer him on. That's it. Push him out for the last couple of seconds there. Come on. Cheer him, cheer him, cheer him. Put your hands together. Come on, everybody, their hands together. Cheer him on. It's Brian Thompson and Mike McConnell away to go out the back leg there. Their 7th and final sheep. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. Who's going to get the drop first? Who's going to push that button? Is it Brian Thompson or Mike McConnell? Out to go together. Who's going to get there? It's Brian Thompson on stand number 5. Mike McConnell and Mike McConnell. Come on, put your hands together for the New Zealand team members. Well done. Now don't forget our Scotsman there, Norm, and the Welshman there on stands 2 and 6. There's another battle going on there as well, Norm.
There certainly is. 2 men left on the board from the home nation, Scotland and Wales. Up the neck goes the Welshman, just ahead of the Scotsman at this stage. But we saw the Scots guys come back in the team final. They made a great comeback against England. Is William Craig going to be able to do that against Wales as well? The Kiwis standing up, sorting their gear out. The South Africans wiping the sweat from their brow. But the Scotsman and the Welshman still hard at it. What a way to make a living, ladies and gentlemen. Back-breaking, sweat-producing work this is. Into the first hind leg goes William Craig. He knows he's still got one left in the pen. Is his wrist going to last the distance? Right round into the first front shoulder, Gareth Owen from Wales. Great share from this Welshman as well. He's on sheep number 6. Both these guys have got one left in the pen. Just a glance up on the big board, you'll see our outside points are missing, ladies and gentlemen. Just our time points and our board points on there. Just to keep the result of this big final a secret for a wee bit longer. We don't want to know what's happening yet. We'll just bring that out when the presentations are made. So the time points are calculated and the board points are calculated, but we can't see what's happening outside. The sheep go down the chute. They're judged outside there by a panel of judges. Just an amount of wool left on, how tidy they are. And Gareth Owen, he's a good tidy shearer, that Welshman. Well through the long blow he goes. He'll turn onto that last cheek very shortly as William Craig busts open the neck and around and behind the head end. Just these two men left on the board, and they're hard at it.
Yes, thank you very much. And the productivity of New Zealand shearing, when there was in the region of 120 million sheep shorn in New Zealand a year, that was 80 million adult sheep and all the lambs and second shear. It was productivity, and a shearer is only paid for the sheep that he shears in a day, and with the result, the more he shears, the more money he makes, and the same with the hand shearing. And this is a back-breaking occupation which they love, they enjoy it, they wouldn't be doing it otherwise, and they're only paid for the sheep that they put between their legs shorn each day. And a hand shearer shearing around about the 100 to 130 a day has worked extremely hard to make that achievement. And on the board we have these two men shearing away. They've obviously, as you can see with them, they just haven't quite got the same skills, but they are certainly worthy of being up there. They've come through the eliminations, and it's been hard going, and I'm looking at William now, and his wrist is starting to get sore, those extra couple of sheep. You can see that his hand is starting to cramp up a little as he works on, and I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased to see the last sheep go out the porthole.
Yes, now and away to go. But it's going to be a Welshman down there on stand number 6. He's going to be next to finish. One more left in the pen for him. That's Garrett Owen down there, the Welshman. And there has to be a few Welsh people here in the audience. You need to give him a push on now as he'll go in the door for his 7th and final sheep in the Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. Garrett Owen down there from Wales. The finishing touches goes in. It's Garrett Owen it is. Out that hip he goes, and out the back leg, taking off that back sock now. Garrett Owen, the Welshman, on stand number 6. Down the porthole she goes. That's it. Cheer him on now as he comes out with his 7th and final sheep on the board. And William Craig, the Scotsman here, the man with a big heart, shearing on stand number 2. Down to the shoulder he comes, and down the last side, Willie. You've only one more left in the pen. Get in there, get that one done, get in and take her out. You're going really well there, doing a wonderful job on that sheep. William Craig, the Scotsman. Down to the shoulder he comes, down the last side. On his 6th sheep with one more left in the pen. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. Down he comes now. Come on, keep it going there, William. Up the neck goes the Welshman there on Garrett Owen on stand number 6. He's up the neck on his 7th and final sheep, but the Scotsman is catching him up all the time here on stand number 2. There's a real battle on now between Scotland and Wales. We've seen it many times before, but it's on here again. William Craig out the back leg, and he'll soon be in for his 7th and final sheep. Come on, William there, keep it going. Out he goes, out the back leg now. Just another couple of seconds and he'll be in for sheep number 7. Sheep number 7 comes out on the board. That's it. Cheer him on. He's really motoring there now, Norm.
He's been in business now, this man from Scotland. Willie Craig. Down into the first hind leg he drops. Gareth Owen, the Welshman, up round the back of the head. If he saw the look of determination on Willie's face, he might be a wee bit worried, but he's around into the first front shoulder. I don't know that William will catch him now, but he'll try his best. He will not give up. The Scotsman on stand number 2. As he punches his... Oh, hang on there, Willie. That's the way, mate. Get the head out the front where you want it. Up the undermine he'll drop. A couple of big chomps, and he'll be looking for the head wall. Gareth Owen down there, the Welshman. Round into the first front shoulder. Almost ready to swing it around into the long blow. William Craig, up the neck he drops. Another big couple of shots, and he'll be off of the cheek. He'll snap that neck wall open and around into the first front shoulder in.
Yes, and William is really going through it. I think he's gone through the pain barrier. He's going through the pain barrier. His wrist is sore, but his determination is that he's not going to give up, and he's going to give that Welshman a run for his money. He doesn't want to be last on the board, and neither does the Welshman. And so he's really is going for it now. He's gone through the pain. He's now just literally shearing through sheer determination. And down the last side comes the Welshman, Gareth. Give him a hand as he works his way. He certainly needs the encouragement. He needs the support of you people. He's doing a tremendous job down there. And I come back to these shears. These are the shears that you buy to clip the lawn with, that the farmers buy to dag a few sheep with. But they are worked by the shearers. They spend hours and hours setting them and preparing them to shear sheep with. The blades are razor sharp. They're as sharp as a surgical instrument. And the shearers take great pride in being able to set and sharpen their shears to be able to perform like this up on the board. You go and buy a pair of shears and they'd hardly cut grass, but these men are able to work on them and to prepare them to be able to do what they're doing up there on the stage.
Yes, but it's Garrett Owen there now on stand number 6. His 7th and final sheep on the board. Come on, clap your hands, clap your feet, whatever you want to do. Cheer him on and give him a bit of support. It's Garrett Owen, the Welshman. Out the back leg he goes. Come on, cheer him on. Clap him, clap your feet, whatever. It's going to be Wales next. And William, yes, it's Wales there on stand number 6.
Welshman, Gareth Owen, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on now, carry on. Give William Craig, push him all the way. He's coming really back into it here now. William Craig, his 7th and final sheep. He's got through that pain barrier and away he goes. The Scotsman with a big heart. Shearing on stand number 2. The Golden Shears World Blade Shearing Final. He pops up that head there now, just leans under the shoulder and comes down the last side. And there has to be a few people here from Scotland. Just watch this man go. He's getting faster all the time now. He's really pumping in there. William Craig, what do you think, Norm?
Bring him home, ladies and gentlemen. William Craig, one of the true success stories. A farmer shearing in a big World Championship Open Blade Final. He's away, he's tonguing, he's got his tongue hanging out. He almost licked the sweat off his brow. Down over the last leg he comes, that man. Really meaning business now. Like Ian said, he's going through the pain barrier and he's hooking away down through that last leg. Another few shots. He'll send that sheep out the hole to join his mates. Sheep number 7 is the final sheep on the board for the Wairarapa Moana World Blade Shearing Championship. Another couple of shots. William Craig, all the way from Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, come a long way. And here he is in the big final. William Craig, give him a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, as he stops the clock.